Now those three, chesed, gevura, tiferes, so-called kindness and restraint and compassion, they are really the integral part of human character. Everything else is just detail. If you have those parts of your character in line, you will notice that pretty much everything else falls into place. The next three we're going to look at are almost secondary elements, and they relate to their immediate predecessor. So if chesed is on the right-hand column, then what falls under it on the right-hand column and is the fourth step in my character process is what we call netzach. Netzach means victory. The direct translation is victory. Now think about that for a second. Victory implies that you've been at this for some time. You've fought for it. It wasn't easy. You had to persevere. You had to be consistent.
It's a religious obligation for a Jewish person to pray in a quorum, a minyan of 10 people. I find that praying amongst 10 people, or at least, who are always putting into it and are disciplined there every morning, sometimes at the crack of dawn, sometimes when it's still dark in winter in the mornings, really is an inspirational thing. It's amazing how draining my job can be, yet I'll wake up in the morning and I'll say to someone, I've got to go to shul. And she'll say to me, yes, go to shul, but perhaps sometimes you need to give yourself a break. And then we both look at each other and we know that it's actually through the extra exertion of going to shul that I give myself a break, because it's a revitalization.
Hoid comes from the word hoda'ah, which means to thank or to admit. The sphera of Hoid is really about deep self-knowledge, where you admit exactly who you are and you are grateful for the unique personality that you have that no one else has. It's a sphera of great acceptance. It's also a sphera of great humility.
So today's midah has been Malchut Shebehod, which literally means kingship of humility is the best word. And it's been really interesting because humility is something that a doctor needs to exercise a lot at work. Thinking about my day today, as I always do, came into contact a lot with my peers and then with my seniors and the people junior to me. And if you look at Malchut Shebehod, as Simi and I discussed last night, Malchut really, although the literal translation of it is kingship, it really means putting into practice the practicality of humility.
And so, you know, that's when we might need to screen her. That's okay.
Thanks.
Looking well, Livy. Still good time for me? That's good. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
So just as I thought that I wasn't going to find an exercise in humility this morning, I just did an antenatal clinic and I had one of the complicated patients. I think I did her quite well, which I'm happy about, but I didn't go into what the reason was for one of her problems in a previous pregnancy. So when Dr. Towil corrected me on that, it was a real thing in having humility, because I mean, you don't want a doctor who misses things like that, but then again, I'm an intern and I'm learning, so that was a real thing in bringing out the humility. I think I did alright at it, but I have to get better at it. The Omer is a very interesting period. It's a paradox. On the one hand, it's an exciting and happy lead up to the most wonderful revelation of Shavuoth. On the other hand, it's a very sad and mournful time. Originally, one of the greatest sages of Israel, Rabbi Akiva, 24,000 of his students died during the dates over which the Omer takes place. So we mourn those students, and we mourn other various sad occurrences that have happened over the years in this time as well.
So Lag BaOmer, we are told, was the day that the plague ended and the death of those students ended. So for that reason the mourning was stopped, and that's a celebration. But Lag BaOmer is really the Sphira, the day of Hod Shebahod. And we learn from that it's a real day of rebirth. Whatever had happened before, it's ended, and a rebirthing comes from that.
Lag BaOmer is a huge celebration all over the world, particularly in Israel. There's a lot of pomp and ceremony. There's no ritual associated with it. It's just plain celebration. People get together and they play music and they have bonfires, and it's a celebratory time.
I think that the whole world is created through the Sphirot. So even in the physical world, there are the Sphirot out there. When I develop my own Sphirot, it certainly impacts on my family and those around me, and with everyone with whom I interact. Because if I can affect my own anger or aggression or what short-temperedness or kindness, whatever it is I'm actually affecting, it's affecting everyone out there that I come into contact with. And so it's a bit of a ripple effect. The whole world gets perfected by each person who perfects themselves.
Now, all of